There we go. We are live with Muyi. Wow, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, Clint. How are you today?
I'm good, my
Good.
man. I'm good. Yeah, just I had to quickly rush and clean my thing, even though it's a bit of a mess in the background. I was just rushing around and getting ready for this podcast because today I'm excited to talk to you about some of the life lessons that you've learned through all the 100 and do you say 114
Yep,
episodes?
114. Yes.
And is that 114 guests, do you think? Or do you think you've done some podcasts that haven't been with a guest?
Okay, like you know what? If I was to be like, I would say it's 105 episodes with them, and like
That's
seeing
impressive.
and yeah, and I won't lie, this is all from this year. So like you know what I mean. I have just put my head down, get on with it because needed to do it. And here's the thing: I'm going to sort of slow things down
Yeah.
when we get to sort of mid-December, mid-January. But I've got enough podcast like guests lined up until like end of February. So yeah.
For real. You got them all lined up. It's quite a mission trying to get people like, what day can you do it on this day or this time? It's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Well, like this is the thing. I think it's one of the like everyone looks at a podcast and they see the sort of surface thing where you go, okay, the podcast, you do a podcast, everything's like there. You do your like podcast interview or you have
Yeah.
like group together, but the amount of organization, what goes on the like in the background, yeah, you've got to be. I would say you've got to be a little bit disciplined with it.
Yeah.
If you're not, like you can be slack with it, but you'll find yourself in more trouble than not. But it
Yeah.
helps get a little bit more disciplined and focused and organized.
So maybe I'll ask you at the end about what your plans are for, this kind of work and why you're putting so much effort into this. But before we do that, I was thinking of going down the lines of more, what you've learned, because as I've been doing podcasts myself, I've actually learned from my guests, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've learned from your guests as well. So I had some questions on, and I didn't really prep you for this. I thought maybe you're the man who could take a question like out of the blue, right?
Fair enough. Hit me.
Let's talk about three things today. Okay, so we talk about mind, and that could be covering mindset, overcoming fear, maybe staying consistent, anger, disappointment, maybe some resentment, and then we'll talk about the body, and so like you pushing hard, sweating, working out, because I know you like fitness too, and then we'll talk about spirit. So it could be community, friendship, relationships, maybe at the end. So if we dive into the body first, the mind first of all,
Okay.
and mindset. So dealing with all the things that plague our minds on a daily basis, and you do push-ups for PTSD as well, for combat veterans. So why don't you just give us a little bit of your thoughts about the mind and mindset?
Like with regards to the mind and mindset, it comes down to this: life happens to us on a regular basis. It doesn't give a damn who you are, where you are, and like, look, you could be prince, pauper, and it will come at you hard, fast, and yeah, it can be very brutal at times.
Yeah.
But if you adopt a mindset where it's woe is me, or like that it's not fair that this has happened to me. And you know what I mean? Like it's everything's worst in like because this like sometimes a little inconvenience happens. You really sort of take a huge chunk of humble pie because look, as I said, it can happen to anyone. Like bad things, good things, anytime. But the way you react to the circumstances of life is the thing which is going to make you either a winner or loser at the end of the day. And like this is the thing, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to trivialize anything because 2020 is one of these years which like no things coming. There's been people who have lost loved ones, there have been people who've been sick, there have been people who've lost their jobs, companies going out of business and stuff like this. But there are people who are going to be like, no, it's happening to everyone. This is the clearest indication. Life doesn't care how it affects you. It's about how you react to life. And if you choose to like go, okay, I've been knocked down. I need to dust myself off and like, yeah, pick myself up. Like, yeah, more times than not, you'll come out the winner at the end of the day. I'm not saying it's going to happen like right at that moment or
Yeah.
2 days, 3 days. It might take months. It might take years, but you keep that mindset of the positivity driving towards something, you'll be in a better place.
Yeah, because I was thinking about when I talk to my kids, and a lot of the time they're thinking about fairness. And I think about, well, if he gets one, then I got to get one. And sometimes I find myself saying to them, well, life is not fair. But at the same time, I'm thinking life is kind of fair in a way, because it does to one as it does to the other. And also, life is giving. That's what I'd like to rather see it as. Life is almost like you mentioned it. It can throw you some really bad times, but at the same time, it offers you a way out. It's almost like this weird conundrum of like, well, life is doing this to me, but there's opportunity over here. And I think, when we think about it, we shouldn't think like, oh, my cards have been dealt the wrong way. Everything's stacking up against me. Yes, maybe some things are happening against you, but at the same time, there's always an opportunity. Like when one door closes, there's another one that opens, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, like as the bard says, the rain falls on the just and unjust alike. But like this is the thing. It kind of makes me laugh. When I was in school, we used to play this game called blackjack, not like casino blackjack. It's kind of like a hybrid of Uno, where you, like if you have like a two, you make up someone pick up two. If you have like blackjack, you have to pick up like 5 cards, and if you play the game with all jack sting, then you'd have to pick up. There will be times where we playing it with 5 packs of cards. So like, yeah. So you can get sometimes it's like someone go, yeah, pick up 2, pick up another 2, pick up another, pick up 10. And then you'll have literally 2 decks of cards.
Wow.
And you're like going, it looks like you're not coming out. But all the time, like if you play the cards correctly, play them right, before you know it, you like that losing situation turns into a winning situation. And you're like, hey. But it just comes down how do you play your hand as well.
So maybe we can just drill down a little bit more into how opportunities are. Well, what some might think is quite rare in 2020, but at the same time, there's in certain sectors there's bigger opportunities, and there's been some big losers and maybe some big winners in 2020. But it almost feels like and I don't know the struggles of what other people are going through.
Right.
But I think that how does a person who's, let's say they've had the bad hand from 2020, they haven't been on the good end of 2020, and they've been at the bad end of 2020, and the company's gone down. I mean, what do you do? What do they do sitting at home? How do they talk to themselves? What things should they be telling themselves to go and get out there again? What do you think?
I think it's a case of, if you get a bad hand, and look, I'm like, there's going to be that natural instinct to just go rush out, get another job, or do like something else, like within that same sector. But it might be a case of like, really sit down, like talk to yourself and like, right, were you truly happy in the job you were in? If it's a case of yes, muscle tough. Just go like try finding another job in that sector. If it was a case of no, this was like getting to me, that was getting to me, and like you get more sort of negative tallies which come up with that job you lost. It might be an excellent opportunity to maybe start looking at doing something else. That sort of just reevaluating where you sit in life. And I know depending on how you might be in, like where you might be in your situation, if you're like young, free and single, if you've got like married, got kids and like, or on the verge of retirement, you still have those options. It's not a done deal. From how I see it, it comes down to what you want to do.
When I was working at the bank, I was working at the Halifax Bank in 2012, 13, somewhere there.
Yeah.
And I understand why some people stay in one place for a long time. And I don't say I fully understand why the reasons why some people stick at the same job forever, even though they complain about that job. And I'm not saying that everybody who does stick at a job and stays there all the time is only there because of fear, because sometimes it's fear that keeps us away from looking for new opportunities. And this I think fear is so ingrained in us, through the way we've just grown up. 200,000 years of humankind, we react to fear. We always trying to preserve ourselves, and so sometimes we don't want to step into that new territory, that new area, that new thing, and put ourselves out there. So it's almost like better the devil you know than the one you don't know. And you're thinking, well, I feel comfortable here, but I want to complain about my situation anyway. So I don't know if you've ever come across that and have thoughts about why people don't want to take that step of risk or into new areas.
Like, look, you're right. Sometimes it is fair, and sometimes it's about like keeping they're comfortable. And like this, with that, if you got a nice comfortable pair of shoes, you've like taken a long time to break them in. Like, why try something new? Why be that old dog trying a new trick? So like people talk themselves into staying in a place where they might not be truly happy. And look, like when you sort of put fear aside, and look, if someone's got responsibilities more than themselves, that they might be like, okay, I really would like to do it, but I look at my kids, I look at my family, and I'm in for them first, and like they put that sacrifice in, which is totally understandable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is, like, if you look at many of the people, you go, okay, they've gone out there to seize the world, and like, you know what I mean? In any event, sporting, art, entrepreneurship, there is most of them have this sort of overwhelming drive to do that one thing. Some people might say it's a little bit selfish, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, I've got to put my all in, or else I'm not going to achieve this goal, this opportunity. It's not going to be fulfilled. So it comes down to the sort of mindset of the individual, I would say.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's hard to kind of break free from the way you've always thought, I suppose. Like, just thinking about, like, I got 4 kids. You probably know this from the last time we spoke. Although you've had 105 guests, so you must be having a hard time remembering all your guests.
Like, if I remember rightly, you said, one of your kids is upstairs sleeping because he was poorly at the time.
All right, so you got a good memory.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go, man. Now I lost my train of thought. But I was thinking about the way in which we grow up. I think determines a lot about how we make decisions as adults. So I'm trying to do the best job I can with my kids, but I find myself with all the pressures of life, like I'm trying to have a go at podcasting as well. I'm having a go at, launching my own products, like the collagen product I've got, my coffee products coming. But this is just a side gig for me, right? I got my day job. I got my 9 to 5, right? I do this kind of thing in my lunch hour. So check it out. But it's about. I think some people. I think it's good to listen to personal development and motivation, because you call yourself a motivator as well. And I think what people should be doing is listening to motivational things, mindset things, like growth mindset. Like, you know what? If I work hard enough at something, if I learn the skills necessary in order to achieve success in this particular thing, I can make a go of it. So I think people, even though you might have grown up with a mindset that's not the growth mindset, that's kind of like, fixed mindset.
Yeah.
You can still break out of that. It doesn't mean that the person you've always been is going to be the person that you're going to be in the future. You can change. What do you think about that? I mean, it's not like you have to be the same person your whole life, right?
Well, like, this is the thing. You got, like, one of the things I think most people find incredibly hard is picturing themselves in the future, or picturing like a building or a house or anything like this. Now, it's not about where you are today. Like it's about where you can be possibly in the future. And when you kind of like basically, if you tie yourself emotionally to where you are right now, and you think, yes, okay, I've got this I need to take care of. Like, yeah, by all means, make sure you take care of your household bills and everything like that. Make sure you get your family fed and everything like this. But you got to remember, it's like you're looking at something down the road. Like you might set targets, goals for it, like I want to be at this sort of stage by this time. But it's always should be something. I think it should be something what always can push on forward, because when people actually set, this is the ultimate goal I want to have, for example, with podcasting, say, I want to have 5,000 downloads each and every episode. And you go, right. So you hit 5,000 downloads each and every episode.
Yeah.
What next? So it's like, so you got to, like, it's always got to be something like, okay, yeah, I want to, this is what I want to achieve with like a podcast. This is what I want to achieve with a blog. But then I want it to be able to lead into this and lead into that.
Yeah.
And let's see where it goes from there.
That's the why. So it's the why behind the why behind the why. It's almost like, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to have 5,000 people downloading your podcast? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It should be like, the why should be something which never can sort of be fulfilled. It's like kind of like, yeah, not to the point where you're like, well, like to the point of disappointment, but it's not like you're going, I am satisfied. There'll be one day I go, yeah, I am like happy with everything I look at. Look, I've achieved this. And yeah, you can like take your, like, you can decide what you want to do from there. But
it sounds like you have, what you're saying is you have to be content in the moment, but then also have a goal to reach towards.
You've like, basically you got to be content with what you've got, but you've got to always keep driving to go forward. To
be better, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move on to, that's kind of like the mindset, and this is LifeShot health and wellness. So wellness we just spoke about, which is the mindset. And I think if you're good in the mind, it'll help you to be well in all parts of the body, I think, emotionally, mentally as well. I think working on your body also helps your general well-being. So your emotional state, how you can deal with stress in your life can come down to what you do with your body. So, you know, keeping fit, pushing hard on certain goals, also meditating, breathing, and those kind of things. Tell us about your routines. Tell us what emphasis and kind of like priority you put on the body.
Well, like, this is the thing, like, I'm a man who likes to lift a weight or two and go from a run every now and then. Like, with regards to this year, with like gyms being closed for like around about sort of 4 months, 5 months, feels like a lot longer. But like, one of the things like I found with myself during the lockdown period is like going, okay, I haven't been to the gym for like a month. I've been doing push-ups. I've been doing like the sort of body weight stuff. And it was like, yeah, it's not really myself. And like, I've learned to sort of get more in tune with like doing more kettlebell stuff and everything like this. But for me to sort of start my day off like right, hitting the gym, doing a workout or two, wherever it might be, it sort of just helps settle my mind and gives me that opportunity to sort of like go, okay, get my day in order. And if I'm going for a run, like for me, I don't meditate, but I find the run more soothing than like sort of, you know what I mean, physically.
That's a kind of meditation while you're running, because you're zoning out. You're kind of like in the moment, right? Because that's mindfulness in a way. It's like, well, I'm going to run and I'm not going to think about my whole day. All I'm going to think about is my feet hitting the pavement, or if you're doing, you know, cross training out in the bush, then yeah, fine. But so is that how you kind of deal with it? Is that how you see it?
Well, like, it's how it's helped. I would say it's helped me a lot over the time. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm having to deal with a little bit of stress, like, like maybe go a little bit more aggressive with the weights and stuff like this, rather than sort of take out on like life and society. But yeah, If I need to sort of really maul over something, yeah, go for a run. Like, yeah, well, when I go for a run, I wear shoes, not like some people I know. Yeah. No, you know, yeah, I saw your Instagram story come up where you were running. Was it 3K or 3 miles?
No, 3 kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do long. I didn't do long. Well, how long do you run for?
Like, well, like this is the thing. I like the pain, like because I was doing preparation for the Paris Marathon, which was meant to be in April next year. Well, I was meant to do it this year, but you know how it is. It was meant to be April 2021 now, but it's been moved back to October. So I've been doing like back-to-back sort of 10-mile days. Now I'm like drop that back to sort of running like 12 to 13 miles a day. So yeah,
really,
so
quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember years ago running through the streets of London, like heading into Shoreditch, and like there was this guy on the other side of the road running barefoot on the street of London. Yeah, and like basically leaving me for dust. I was like, oh my God. It's like looking at him, just like, yeah, muttering under my breath. But yeah,
I think people have got soft. You think about these guys in Lesotho, right? And these guys live in the mountains and they run barefoot. So I think that the guys who train in more arduous conditions can actually outpip the ones who are in the cities running with their comfortable latest tech shoes. You know what I mean?
Look, you're going to get no argument for me, like, because yeah, as I just said, yeah, that left me for dust, and I was like, yeah, a tear was coming to my eye. Yeah.
How much emphasis do you put on what you eat, nutrition, or do you just restrict your calories, or what do you do?
No, like, you know what? Won't lie. I don't watch any of my calories or anything like that. I just go with what, like, I when I'm hungry, I eat. When I'm not, yeah. And like this is the thing, if I was watching my calories and everything like that with my intake, yes, and maybe I might be a few kilos lighter, but with what I sometimes do in a day, like I would find it very hard to find the right sort of balance if I would just like listen to my body, like, because I'll do like, if I on a sort of typical day, if I'm doing weights and run, like I'll do weights first thing in the morning. That'll be typically anything from like 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half. And then basically following that with a 10 mile run to 13-mile run. So it kind of, yeah. So it's like very sort of hard to sort of really sort of work it out, because if I went, yes, I'm going to just do 2,000, before I know it, I'll be like zoned out completely. Just like, yeah.
And do you watch what you eat, or you don't mind? You kind of like you eat it and you burn it. What do you think?
Well, I eat it and burn it, but I try to like keep my food much more clean than sort of dirty. Don't you worry. Like there's times where like if you like present me with like a donut, that donut is going down hard. But yeah, I tend to just simply watch what I eat with regards to that. But I'm not sort of like going, okay, this is how many calories are in here. I'm not weighing it and like, yeah, but yeah.
Do you think it comes down to like enjoying your food? Because I think a lot of the time if we try and follow certain diets, we might end up not enjoying what we're eating because we're always worried about what we're putting into our mouths. Is your mindset more like, you know what, I'm gonna look after myself, but every now and then I don't mind having a treat. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's like that, because I'm not training at this present time to like go, okay, I'm not training to be in a weight competition. I'm not like right now. Like that was going to be the next stage in the new year. Was going to address my sort of diet with regards to the running, to sort of like help me like maybe carve off a kilo or two. But I'm not doing that at this present time. not through my choice, but yeah, global pandemic 2020 rolling on strong. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah. So okay, and so let's move on to the spirit part. So we body, mind, and spirit, and let's
mm,
talk about like the spirit of community, also friendship and relationships, those types of things. So I think when you mentioned it earlier, you said the pandemic is global, and actually it's affected all of us. It hasn't left anybody, like no one's been left out or excluded
mm.
from this, and we felt like we've all gone through this together, you know. And hopefully there's been some improvements in the way in which we socialize and the way in which we treat each other. I'm hoping that it gets better. Although you see some stuff in the news, and maybe that's the outskirts. Like in America, there's a lot of like division between almost demonizing the other side. Demonizing Democrats, demonizing the Republicans, and even here in the UK government, sometimes the Labour guys are demonizing the Tories, and it's like it's a bit toxic. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
really, what has this pandemic taught us? What do you, in your eyes, what's the lessons it's given us?
Well, like this is the thing. If you ask me what the lessons were at the beginning of the pandemic, I would have been like, yes, it's like taught us about unity, coming together, and like, you know what, like doesn't matter how old you are. Like if you're like a young kid who's like got like, I think it was muscular sclerosis, like emulating like major like Captain Tom, like yeah, you can make a difference.
Hmm.
Like as it's gone on, it's kind of like looks like okay, yeah, people have got a little bit like too self-centered on some things, and they're not kind of listening anymore. And yeah, there has been sort of division which has gone on, social unrest, everything like this. But fundamentally, all out of all of the chaos and negativity, one of the things which still what comes through time and time again, that people are a lot better than we actually give them credit for. Like there,
Generally, you mean like people generally?
I would say people generally look. Look the vast majority, like you, all of the sort of negativity you hear and like the sniping from one side to the other,
Mm,
always comes down to a very small, like highly vocal group, which
yeah.
like the press, the media latch onto. But
Mm,
look, honestly, like Jesus, like let's really think about it. If everyone went, you know what, sod it, you know what, screw this, forget this 2020 lockdown, blah, blah, blah. Look, forget about like yeah, like being scared about not having toilet paper. You'll be scared to walk down the damn street. And look, like so, I'm gonna say this: like the sort of unity and spirit and bond that people share, not just here, but globally, is a lot stronger than we actually give it credit for.
okay.
And yeah, and like I've been quite fortunate with regards to what I've been doing through this year with the podcast, because it's
Mm,
given me access to actually speak to a whole heap of people around the world who had trials, tribulations, like which you would like sometimes question what the hell,
mhm.
really sort of put people to the sword, and you're like, oh, how can I overcome this? But yet there they are, they've overcome. They're
Mm.
like basically yeah, and they smile, they can talk about stories which some are filled with so much pain and so
Mm.
much like harrowing times, but yet they endure it. Like they can smile, they like go forward better than they once were. And I
Mm.
think that is a lot. It's not a rare thing. It's much more of a common thing.
So
And yeah,
yeah, it's almost like what we perceive as the norm is only is the reason because it's more vocal, like you mentioned. So
mm,
it's more like, oh, there's a reporting on the negative news, and there's not enough reporting on the positive that actually comes out from the world. And
yeah,
there's a few podcasts I've listened to about reasons why you should believe that the world is becoming a better place. Stuff like that. There's even a book written about it with statistics, like how statistically things are getting better. But I think this has been the year also for conspiracy theories, and it's easy to get swept away by them, or at least to do, like, you know what, you think maybe this is a bit of a something's a bit weird about this, but at the same time, I don't think the elite or the Illuminati that's out there is so organized that they can orchestrate this whole thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know what your thoughts are.
Look, this is the thing. All I've got to simply say is this: with regards to many of the conspiracy theories about big government doing this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Do you know how nigh on impossible it is to keep a secret? Not even a state secret, not even something so sort of James Bond like that you like going, oh my God. Look, like small things just get out. So you know what I mean? Like when people are like going, okay, yes, 5G does this and 5G does that. You're like going, wait, there's like 4 countries in the world where 5G is, and like where you're talking from, it's not even in your area. What are you talking about? And what are you talking about 5G? It's just no. Look, it's just no. Look, I had a lady on the other day asking me, like, would you take the vaccine when it, like, because it's like out now? And I was honest with her. I was like going, look, I look at this, I look at the new vaccine with a kind of a side eye, and I think that most of the population are kind of looking at it going, okay, yeah, you know what? By all means, like, you guys go first. I'll wait. I'll see. And like, but at the end of the day, like, if everything proves to be a-okay, like, like, here's my arm, put the needle in, and like go forward. But I'm not gonna be like, no, I'll take the vaccine. No, I'll be like, no, wait.
Yeah, well, because I mean, for people like maybe like me and you, well, depends. Maybe I shouldn't. But anyway, people who are maybe at higher risk, I can understand them having the vaccine. And then people who are not at risk, I don't see the reason why you should have it, like a flu jab, right? I mean, I don't know why we'd be having that.
Yeah.
But we digress a little bit. But it is part of what we have been experiencing in 2020. So it's not too much of a digression, but just thinking about relationships now, and how I think in 2020 it's been tough for some people to be in a relationship because you've been so confined and spending so much time with the same people in the same house. I don't know what it's been like for you. What's your experience been?
No, this is the thing. I'm fortunate. Like, my lovely lady is like, and me, like, thankfully, like, well, if we were in Cambridge, like in the place we were, like, it would have been a much smaller than where we are right now, and that may have rubbed us a little bit more the wrong way. But like, all in all, it's been good. It's been like, you know what I mean? It's been actually quite fantastic, because at the end of the day, we've got each other, and I think we've helped each other get through some of the harder times of this all. And like, there is the whole thing, like, there are people who unfortunately have either been alone in this sort of like crisis, and they have no one to sort of turn to. Like, there's only so many Zoom calls you can do, but still that sort of like just sitting on the sofa, maybe watching a TV show, or, you know what I mean, just those moments of quietness you share in the company with others. If you don't have that, it's a lot tougher. Well, I'm sorry to say like quiet or silence to you, because you're a father of 4. You've forgotten what that's like.
My daughter brought home I think they call it a cornet, which is like a French horn.
Yeah.
Starting to practice, and you know, when you first start on those things, they're very noisy.
Yeah,
she doesn't know how to play them. So it's very noisy in our house. The last thing I want to touch on before I ask you about what you want to get out of what you do, but before we do that, I was thinking about how this pandemic has brought about opportunities in order for people to create technology that still connects us, and also it helps new business to operate in a different way. And so I'm just thankful. I suppose all I want to say, and you can comment on this or not, but I don't know. I just want to feel, I'm thankful for sort of like the global heart that's come together and said, you know what, we've got to look after each other. Let's create opportunities for each other. Let's get through this together type thing. And you can see all the new technology that's come out that's kind of helped us to stay connected, to help businesses thrive. And from all the businesses out there, they've done what they can to keep us all going, you know, like food on the table, electricity still going. I think we've got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, like, you know what? Like, put it this way, I would say, yeah, with regards to the like pandemic, with technology, everything like this, if you think about if this happened 10 years ago, like, yeah, like I would just simply say it would be a very much different story. I think it would be a case of very much, like, so much strain would be even greater. So, like, yeah, I'm grateful for like the opportunities which have come up through this year. I'm grateful for like, look, I'm grateful for like time which has been like given back to many of us, like giving us time to reflect and like go, right, are we going in the right direction, or do we need to go in a different direction? I think out of the next 5-10 years, I think you're going to see lots of people not only be emboldened to like do like what they want to do and like embrace like the things they want to do in life, rather than sort of just conform to like the sort of daily grind or what they consider the norm.
I like that, because it has done that. It's really taken us out of our daily norm and said, hey, reset, you know. And actually there's a conspiracy about the global reset, but we won't get into that. It is a reset.
Yeah, I've heard like a couple of family members who've been like, yeah, that kind of okay. Okay.
I suppose there's always a little bit of truth in a conspiracy theory. There's always a little bit of something, but it might not be the full picture.
Well, yeah. And some of these conspiracy theories look like they should be in a James Bond movie. Yeah. That's what I was simply saying.
Life is sometimes the best drama. Real life is the best drama. I was watching The Crown on Netflix, and it's really good watching, good drama watching. I love it.
Yeah, like this season of The Crown, it's kind of a little bit weird because in some respects I can remember like a lot of the stuff what's going on. So it's where
I'm only on season 3, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Like I'm like watch for like like season 4, it's now in the realms of
the 80s, 90s.
Yeah. So it's in the realm of my reality. So like going, oh, okay, like how much, like now you might be taking a little bit more artistic license when it's like a little bit too close to present day. So I'm very interested to see what the next seasons come into, because it'll be like a case of many more people like going, okay, you're way off base here, you're way off base here. Like, yeah, you might as well have called them like,
they did say that it was loosely, well, it's mostly based on facts and history, but they would do add in little bits of like artistic license.
Yeah, but like this is the thing, no one really does their research when it comes to anything like that. You know.
All right, Muyi, so tell us, I'm interested to know why you are so fervent in your podcasts, getting like more than one, it seems, per week sometimes, or one per week at least. Well, what's driving you? What's motivating you? Tell us the why.
Like, it's twice weekly, and basically I want to, like, simply put, I want to put out the best podcast I can put out ever. And like, this is the thing, like, from your, like, when you appeared on episode 7 to like now 114, like, I want to constantly improve it, constantly move forward, constantly like get it better. And look, I've been looking at something like StreamYard, which we're on right now, to like maybe not on interview basis, but yeah, to add as maybe something as a third thing, where I can have a little bit more fun with like doing something random.
Tell us why. Why do you want to be? Why must it be good? What reason?
It's because, like, this is the thing. Look, if you want to sort of get anywhere in life, you got to aim high, and you've got to like bring a quality thing forward. And like, look, I've listen to like podcasts like from like the great and not so great. And when someone's like, okay, they're kind of not, they don't actually, they they're there having an interview, or they're there just like talking about whatever they're talking about. Look, first, like my first 8 episodes, it was just me talking to the mic like myself, and I like listened to it. I was like, going, you must be joking. I'm not. I mean,
Like,
like,
who
I'm
should listen to this?
Mm, yeah. So like, no, changed that. Started interviewing people. Like, started with friends at first, people I knew,
Same
and
as me.
then took the bold leap and started interviewing people like across across like not Zoom at the beginning. I was using like freaking Skype, and let's just say like Skype is like, don't use Skype or OBS in combination. It is a horrid thing.
That's horrible.
Indeed. Yeah.
So what's the impact you hope to have with your listeners, with people who are
Well,
tuning in?
no, this is the thing. Anything what can help give them like insight, opportunities to learn and grow, yeah, that would be great. Like, this is the thing. Like, at this moment in time, it's a small following, but yeah, we shall see where that goes in 5 years' time. It like, yeah, but if someone comes up to me, I went, yeah, really learned a lot from your like interview, your podcast with X person. Like, yeah, it really helped me with, because I was going through this, I was going through that. Yeah, great. That's awesome. I would say, yeah, that's mission accomplished for that one person. And like, yeah, I'll
So
keep
it's
it moving
like
forward.
changing lives, helping people to get through things, to learn things.
Yeah. And like, this is the thing. I don't know how, I can't predict how this podcast will help or touch people's lives, but it's what I'm going to do right now. And yeah, hopefully it will go in a positive direction. Hopefully it will help people move in a positive direction. And yeah, hopefully that much better.
So this is my thoughts. So thought for you, thought for everyone listening as we end off here. Muyi, it's been great having you.
Right?
My thoughts are this. Now, there's no formula. As we know, there's no formula in life that you say, if you do this and you do that, then this result will happen. Because
No.
life is life is unpredictable in some ways. But in some ways, I think there are some things we can kind of count on. And that is, when you put the time in, then recognition starts to happen. And it's almost like the universe is not going to respond until you've shown dedication. The universe is not going to respond until you've shown perseverance. You've shown stickability. You've shown grit. And I've seen this before with some guys who, because I come from the music industry, and people are very passionate about music, and it's the same with podcasting in a way, because there's so much out there. You're trying to go against all the noise. This, even selling a product is the same thing. There's so much out there, and you're trying to make a voice in this. Yeah. And people, I love it when people have a passion for something and they just keep going. And sometimes you look upon them and you think, with a bit of sadness, you think, I wish this person would just get a break. Or you look upon them and you think, their actual skill is not quite there yet. But actually, the more you push and the less you are willing to give up, then things will start to happen. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of sticking in there until something happens, because sometimes you might just be at the very pinnacle of where that success is about to, or the breakthrough is about to come, and you give up just before that breakthrough comes. And that's heartbreaking in itself as well.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Remember, like, sometimes it starts with a whisper rather than someone screaming and shouting.
Yeah, I like that. And there's also something I was watching about Jeff Bezos from Amazon. And the one thing he just said was, big things start small. And I was like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Hey, just simply look at a redwood tree in California and you'll see it.
Exactly. It just started as a little shoot, and look how big it is. Well, Muyiwa, it's been great talking to you, my man.
Hey, Clint, pleasure.
Yeah. So this is Clint and Muyi. How do we get hold of you on social media? You got MUI, I think, is your hashtag on.
if you go to like Muyi.com, MUUI23.com, you should be able to find all the sort of like major links to get hold of me. And yeah, if you want to like send me a message, listen to the podcast, or yeah, just have a quick chat, yeah, be more than happy to. Yeah, and it's Muyi23 on my Instagram as well. And yeah.
I put it in the chat, yeah. So maybe hopefully that's the one. Muyi23.
Yeah.
.com. Not sure if you said .com.
I did say .com.
Okay, cool. Great having you on the show, my man, and all the best for your future podcast. And people can tune into Day In, Day Out, isn't it? That's the name of the podcast.
Day In, Day Out podcast. Yeah.
Day In, Day Out podcast, and where you can learn about life, really, from all your guests. And if you want to know about health and nutrition and food, normally we speak about it on this podcast. Today, I thought we'd talk about, this is a wellness podcast. And Muyi, I just wanted to get your ideas on, and your, the spirit coming from you about wellness, and I think you shared some good nuggets for us today. And I really appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate, I appreciate being a guest here. It is excellent. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All the best, guys. See you around.
Guys. Bye-bye.